Hi everyone, this is Queen Bliss, but you can call me Bliss. And I actually, my YouTube page is called Nerdish Queen. But today, I wanted to talk to you about the discussion group that I joined. But first, let me tell you about what happened on the way there. It is so funny, I swear. Funny stuff happens to me all the time. I just look at it and laugh. But I'm downtown Auburn, and the yellow light was there, and I was thinking about running it, but I'm like, I'm right by the police station, so it will probably be better, smart and wise for me to, you know, stop. Because it was about to turn red, so I stopped. I put on my brakes fast, and there was something in my trunk, and it sounded like gun gunshots when I was so I duck and I go like that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, am I? There's no gunshot around here, and I'm like, what the heck is wrong with me? And I'm like, what? I'm like, am I always in ready mode? I'm like, what is wrong with me? What kind of state of mind am I in right now? So I'm like, okay, but I couldn't do anything but laugh because I was really like that, like this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what the heck is wrong with me? And I couldn't do anything but like laugh, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really thought those were gunshots. What? But it was something in my trunk, and I still didn't even go and look what was in my trunk. But it was just like, am I always in ready mode? Is this healthy? Is this, But anyways, it was funny to me. It might not be funny to you, but it's funny to me. So, but anyways, so in this group, we are reading essays and early novels and stories by James Baldwin. Love James Baldwin. Haven't gotten a chance to read everything by him yet, but these are actually on loan to us by the New York Council for Humanities, and it's actually a it's being given by the Harriet Tubman Boosters Club in Auburn, New York. They are the ones who really, really pushed for Harriet Tubman to have a park, even though I kind of wanted her to be honored with a school named after her. I think that would have been, better, but that's another topic, that's for another time. It's neither here nor there, and she still deserves to have a school named after her. But a park, that's good. That's good too, you know. But anyway, so I'm excited to get to dig into Baldwin, and get other people's assessment and their uh outtake on it, to their in communications and social interaction. It's called constructive reality, to see how they have constructed Baldwin, and because it's going to come from what they have experienced in life, and it's going to come, their outtake on it is going to come from how they perceive the world around them, and it's going to be very, very interesting. And I will not share that with you because it's very personal. I will only share what I have taken from it, because I don't I have not gotten their permission, and I won't ask for their permission to do that, because it is something that is private. So I will respect that. But I first learned about Baldwin. I was in high school, and I was taking a college class, and it was from 6 to 9. So and this was actually during the school year, and it was on Mondays, and I cannot remember my professor's name, but he actually ended up passing away. And he was so nice. Loved this professor. He was real down to earth and, a big stocky guy. And he ended up passing away though. But he knew I was in high school. He knew I wasn't, we wrote papers differently in high school than we did college. So he kind of let me and another girl kind of be slack a little, not, as formal as the other college students. But during our breaks, I would go into the library like I did during the summer when I took the other English course. And I would just, it was like divine, if I can say that. And truly, I think it was divine. That I would go directly to some books. And, directly to some books. And just pick it up and, oh, it's this author. Kind of like I did with Baldwin. And it was The Fire Next Time. And I didn't necessarily read all of it at that time because I really didn't have time because I worked. I went to high school and I had my college class. So I really didn't have time for much. And plus, I was in the streets too, so I didn't have time for any extra. And plus, I was reading other books. I was reading Terry McMillan, Omar Tyree. But I read a little bit of it. And as I said, I knew when something was really, really heavy. And I knew that once I read it, that I was going to be responsible for what I read. So I read a little bit of it. And I said, it's too much for me right now. Let me put this down and I'm going to remember it later. And I ended up getting the book. But it was too much for me. Not that it was too much for me to read. It was too much for me to read and then want to change because I wanted to be in the streets. And because I knew once I read that I was going to be held accountable for what I read. I knew that I wouldn't be able to go in the streets and do the same thing. It's just like, but once I did read it, I saw things differently, and I remember one night being with my boyfriend and we were high and he had a OE. And when he was done, he threw the bottle outside. And we were riding down Salina Street. And he turned off of a side street. I can't remember what street right now. And he turned off of a side street and threw the bottle. And I'm looking, just tears just started rolling down my face. And rolling down my eyes, down my face. And I'm like, how could he? How could he's my teacher. He's teaching me a lot of things. And I'm like, how could he be teaching me about Black unity and Black love? And, how could he be teaching me all of this? And he's adding to the destruction of our community. Because let this be known. I don't care what community you live in. Every community is our community. I live here, but if I go to Syracuse, that's my community. If I go to Rochester, that's my community. If I go to Buffalo, that's my community. If I go wherever, that's my community. It's our community. So it's like, how can you talk about cleaning up the community, and how could you talk about, doing all of this for the community, and you are adding to the destruction of our community? And from that day forward, I made it up in my mind that I wasn't going to listen to anything else that he said. What he said was irrelevant to me at that time. Not that he didn't have anything good to say, but you can't tell me anything anymore, and you are destroying our neighborhood, our community. You know, it's like, and I made that, I paused because it was like, he was selling drugs at the time, and I didn't agree with it. I hung with a lot of drug dealers, but he was selling drugs at the time, and I would get mad. I started getting mad. I had started changing, and I'd be like, how could you sell these people drugs? You know, and your actions aren't lining up with your words. And I looked at it like, okay, that's them. They want to do drugs. Let them do drugs. But there was one night in particular that there was a lady, that there was a woman, and she was well dressed. You know, so I know she had a good job. But she had her kids in the car. And she was buying drugs. So, you know, reading that book, and it started getting to me. It was just like, you know, I started feeling uncomfortable. And when you know better, you do better. And by me reading all this stuff, it was like, I'm a hypocrite. Because what am I reading for? What am I reading all this stuff for? So, you know, slowly but surely, I started to change. I couldn't hang in the streets anymore because I started getting very emotional. I started seeing with new eyes. You know, me 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning with my boyfriend, and we're getting high. And it's like, I'm crying because I'm seeing with new eyes. In the same neighborhoods that I used to run the streets with, when I was run the streets in when I was, you know, 15, 16, 17. And here I am, 19, 20, 20 years old with my boyfriend. And I'm crying because I'm seeing out of new eyes, because I know better. I'm in a different light. You know, just like they say, you know, if you read a book and put it down and live a little, you go back to the same book. You're not reading that same book again. But as time goes on, I'm in this class, in this discussion for 6 weeks, and I'm excited about it because I want to learn what other people think, and I want to give my opinion too, but let it be known, my objective in taking this class and joining in these discussions is because I want to know what the community is going to do about this violence, about these kids getting killed. What are we going to do as a collective whole in the upstate New York region? So I hope everybody's week so far has been going good, and the weekend is tomorrow, so be safe. Don't drink and drive. Walk away from an argument. You don't need to do anything for a reputation. It takes a lot to walk away. Prove yourself strong. Stop the violence. And this is Miss Bliss. Peace, love, and live blissful. I love you all.